So I'm going to fight that fight, because that's all it's ever been about for me. What I had, I'd like the young people that you had. Most of you have it. That's all we're doing, passing it on. At the end of the day, it will always represent, and Mike's going to his next environment where he has to fight the fight for you. But I tell you what, you feel a lot more confident on the basis, by the way, this is the academy. This is the Social Coach Leadership Program. Each and every one of you are social coaches. A fast track module of you becoming 2 hours a week. How many of you give more than 2 hours a week in engaging with young people? How many hours a week do we know that's contributed by all of you in one given place? We don't know. How many parents will entrust you as they deliver and they have projects and they have relationships? How many of you are parents, godparents, aunts or uncles? Everyone's doing it shyly. I mean, it's part of the progression of life. But you're the role models. You're the people they've got to depend on. But the leadership program is there. There's a fast track module. We need all of the social coaches, and then you become a social movement. David Cameron, former Prime Minister, came to Moss Side, went to the Windsor estate, and from that established the National Citizenship Bureau. That was inspired from the Social Coach Leadership Program. It had 3.4 billion invested in it. Do any of you know about it?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah. So does Tom. Because you run it, didn't you?
National Citizenship.
Yeah, and
right.
yes, yeah.
What was the legacy of it? What was the impact of it?
Well, it's ending now.
That's what I'm saying. What was there a generational impact? Was there a societal impact?
I'd say yes on the children that participated.
Mm-hmm. Where are they now?
I don't know because I didn't actually run into the programs.
I met the person who was one of the key central drivers of that program in Paris with a unique university. Frustrated because it was seen as missionary work. It delivers. It's all it's about. This is common sense stuff. This is all the skill sets you possess that you have in abundance. This is the new youth work offer. Sports coaches that are youth workers that are sports coaches, or arts coaches, or cultural activity coaches. You bring the whole holistic leadership experience into one accredited approach. You share the experiences. You share the case studies. When we don't do this, Cameron made a really important point. How is this still having to be fought for? If nobody feels this is something we take responsibility to or for, Janice said, Mike, when you convened what was the all-important pre-engagement, parents were saying they're scared to send their children out.
Well, the parents were also scared to go out.
And by the way, I've got a 31-year-old and a 28-year-old living in Hackney, and I have a subconscious fear for them every single day. At 6'8" and 6'6", I shouldn't have to be. But because they are not part of a culture of the streets, they are targets. We are living in a rather more violent society than ever would have been the case, or we should have to see being the case. 2 12-year-olds cannot decide to take a life of a 16-year-old William teenager of basketball potential whose parents felt that a host city was the best place to send, or region, to send their son for that operation, who goes for a walk in the park and has his life taken. I won't tell you the case notes, but the Anguillian Consul General told me the views expressed. It haunts me and it challenges me to challenge you. If we get this right, that isn't something I have to use as the means that you should do this. This is the right thing to do. Oh, by the way, I can give you the socioeconomic cost of this. I can give you a bottom line. I was invited to court one of the Old Bailey. They took a number of young people that they felt had great potential, but were caught up in that cycle that could end up as part of those unacceptable statistics. There were 80 of them. More worryingly, young girls were caught up in the cycle as well. It was supposed to be a short, sharp shock. This is what you can look. By the way, does anyone here understand joint enterprise by way of young people? Please become aware of it. There are young people, just by talking about it, can look at 28 years of their lives being taken from them. Just by having a conversation. They are joint in the enterprise of taking a life. They gave them the whole experience what they could expect. They put them back on the streets. The injuries of knives didn't faze them because they've got it on their mobile. They can see worse here. Surely you've established at the beginning of this year that we're now seeing a racially tense society. How many of you were able to live your projects last year when there were near race riots in this country? Was it an easy delivery of activity? No, please, I need you. I need a feel. Sorry?
We were going down to do a load of cricket with newly settled refugees in Rugby, specifically where there were loads of where refugees were in hotels, and cancelled entirely.
We have parent counselling. We have programs somewhere.
So we delivered one of our holiday camps in a box, and not a single child turned up the day before there were 80 kids taking part in this activity.
Please understand the things that we take as a fundamental human right does not become the right of responsibility. Because we all have a responsibility. God forbid you ever have to convey the feeling or despair of losing one of your young. One of those who've come to your project that you've seen with potential, that you've seen have everything in their lives before them. Janice will tell you, Peter will tell you, I'm a different individual. This weekend there were no lives lost. So I'm able to come to you and I'm able to have an enthusiasm that suggests, by the way, that life is priceless. Have you always learned that life was priceless? So how are we trying to make a socio-economic argument on a life that's priceless? We're all responsible, directly or indirectly. We all need to buy into what I want to see, and what everyone tells me now is it's almost sycophantic, it's almost delusional to see no lives, none. That's what I want to see, none. Why is that an impossible aspiration? That's all you have to do. That's it. If you think, believe, by you being here today, by the way, you represent a global movement. China, South Africa, the Caribbean, as the sub-regions, they're all getting on with it, by the way. Some say that their day-to-day existence is a lot more hungry, it makes them more motivated. Here, as the 8th richest nation in the world, we're not supposed to have these problems. The Youth Chancellor was never expected to be here, but I'm going to hand over to Mike, because Mike's got to go, because he's going to be taking this fight to the regional powers of the responsibilities, and I'm just going to follow up, because I'm just asking a question for and on your behalf. Mike.
Can you follow Jeff?
Yeah.
Some of you will have heard Jeff speak before. If you haven't, you have now. I'm trying to wrap up. I'm going to the Combined Authority because, oh man, in my world, there's coalitions set up, there's collaboration. Sport England wants to set up a cluster. There's meeting after meeting, talk after talk. This is what I like about Jeff. And I think the important thing there is there's no cost here, is there, Jeff?
No.
So, you know, some of the, I guess, the naysayers, the doubters, when we first talked a couple of years ago, were thinking, well, there's a catch here. There's got to be something that Jeff wants out of it. It's not, it's just
Saving lives.
well intended, yeah, and the outcome. So I suppose from me, on behalf of coming together so quickly, with a week's notice, thank you, because you were here not too many weeks ago, and hopefully we'll keep coming together. But it shows with the time and the energy and the chat in the room that there's always good in just talking together and being together, and this is about everyone hopefully benefiting from this. I guess we're talking about, just to reiterate, for me it's about sharing and learning, but it's about doing this with a purpose, because ultimately we have to unlock funds. And our responsibility, Mark's from BCU and Sport Birmingham, is backing and endorsing the Youth Charter to say we know they're in it for all the right reasons. How we then go about it and what happens in the coming years is yet to be seen. But if we sort of believe in doing something together and demonstrating the impact more powerfully, there has to be the potential of unlocking some funding beyond the normal sources. And as, who was the guy, was it Simon who was on the course?
Simon Godfrey.
It is money in the end. Of course it is. You can't do what you do, and you do it anyway without paying yourselves a lot of money. So it's about a fair return so that you can do more of what you do, involve more people. It's always about capacity building. I'm committed that whatever money we can get through grant sources, we as the active partnership take as little out of that as possible, because it's about just distributing those funds. We've distributed it through the Commonwealth Games, tiny bit of legacy funding, and we've used what we've called 5 anchor organisations. Those 5 anchor organisations are doing a great job, and they're bringing their communities together. But all of you are, if you're not one of those, and there's a few in the room, those who aren't could and should be, because we just need to extend that model where the funding just comes through us, out to you, but there's a collective means of bringing some of that impact back into a central point. This is where I think this has got real potential, because we haven't got that easy means of bringing it back into one point. But if we can do it around the campus model, and there's a sort of more consistent approach in Birmingham, we're saying through this we're actually together in this. We're not having to invest a lot of our time, and that's really important that we respect the little time that people have got, and you see a purpose and you see a meaning to the time that you invest and the data you maybe give over in whatever controlled way that is. So I think it's a question of saying Birmingham's first on this anyway. I said to Jeff, the 5 other active partnerships and colleagues of mine around our network, we'll take that when we're ready next to that other place up north. But you've got to go where the energy is. You know, we might cite some of those places and we just don't get the buy-in because everyone's busy and there's other things to do, or they think they've got another model. So we've got to start building a bit of momentum here, and I think the potential is real, else I wouldn't be. Although I can fear Jeff, you know, look at the difference between us. I'm not going to pit a bit of judo at my age against Jeff's achievements in karate. So, but I respect Jeff, and I know he believes that we're doing this for the right reason. I think it's just a question of getting a critical mass of us bought into it, showing the strength of that unity together, and then just seeing how it goes, staying with it. That's the other part, isn't it? We can all buy in and think, yeah, I've got good intention. Somehow we've got to find the time and the belief to stay with it, and we owe it to you to keep you involved and communicate with you so that you feel that there's value in the time that you're giving. And then I think we could do something special and something meaningful. So that's where I would say, just to endorse it from the active partnerships point of view, from Sport Birmingham's point of view, we're in it for the next good few years. It coincides really well with all the place work and the more together work that will be happening in Birmingham anyway. I hope to hold a pen on behalf of Birmingham on that Sport England bid, and that's got to go in 2 months' time. You're all involved in that conversation. If you weren't at the event on the 23rd, because we can't get it right all the time, we can't reach everyone that should be there, and you weren't there, then get in touch with me. And we'll make sure you're on that circulation and you're kept involved with everything, because there's a bigger collaboration here then. We want to bring in more of the system partners, more of the national governing bodies. We don't want to stop, we don't want to close the door on anyone, but you're at the heart of it, because you're the, as Callum put it so eloquently once at some event, you're the, what was it you said? Landing pad. Landing pads was the expression you used, in the community, that's where you are. So anyone coming into Birmingham that we can attract into Birmingham or is interested in Birmingham,
to you first,
and then it's through you guys. So that's what I would say to round it up, Jeff.
Thank you. It is about you. Everything you do now will not only impact the lives and communities you represent, it's going to be representative of other cities and other communities. I said I would come to Birmingham first, because Birmingham deserves for it first. It was your games, it was your legacy, it was the pledge made by Brummies, and as the outsider and deputy chair, I signed up to it because I related to it, because that's been the life work that I've dedicated myself to. Only to see what I had, Mike had, and of a generation of us who are prepared to accept the generation. Obviously I've come from the 20th century. That normally gives enough for the young people, so I'm a dinosaur. But I'm a dinosaur who still walks the earth. Let's just try and improve things and make things a lot better than they currently are. If you follow those steps, if we make a pledge that this time next year, we just reconvene and say, what has been the collective result of our collective efforts? 2 hours from each project per week, and I believe you can change the world for the lives that you can inspire. And the late Madiba said, as the QR code, see, I'm told it's a QR code world. No, I think this is all to be attributed to the late President Mandela. Before the racial war that still marked the uncertainty of the new South Africa, a Vision for Sport delegation went to South Africa and I led that delegation. I was then exposed to the real power of sport in the arts. It was a vaccine, it was an antidote. Madiba's doctor was a black belt in karate. The black belt who assassinated Chris Hani was from the Afrikaans side of the world, had swastikas on karate suits. And I was then in the townships where they'd mobilized through Chris Hani a race war, through the martial arts. It did not happen because a few did the right thing for the right reasons. That became the birth, as I brought back Ubuntu, the spirit of community, me and we. I brought that back to Moss Side, and it grew from there. Everybody just contributed their time. No one was paid. I'm not paid for what I do at the Youth Charter. I want that placed on the record. So nobody can question my motives. You need to be paid. And those who deliver. But so no one ever questions my motives. That remains as committed it was 3 decades ago as it is committed when I see you now and look into the mirrors of your soul. And we'll come back next year and say, we didn't lose anybody. We didn't lose anybody. That's the biggest achievement for me.
I think it might be 6 on reconvening.
The drive, the facilitation, the brokering will come via Sport Birmingham. You'll all be communicating. We'll give you reports on the progress being made, so you're given confidence, because with confidence, there's investment. That's how things are done. But vision and action is a dream. Action and vision is merely passing time. Vision with action can change the world. That's my day-to-day lived experience and commitment. So, as my late mother taught me, please think about what you've given your invaluable time to be here today, which I want to thank you most sincerely. Because once we get to please and thank you, you're not having to say sorry. And if you do say sorry, as Madiba said, it will heal. Do not seek permission, only forgiveness if you're doing the right thing. Please make sure that we can collect your invaluable feedback. A report will be produced, and hopefully the movement starts from here. But stay well, stay blessed, return back safely to your respective homes. I'm told that's supposed to engage you with your mobile devices. Please fill in your feedback. As many people don't know, Yuri will no longer be with us, but he did an invaluable legacy step. Please wish him well.